Kevin O'Leary, who comes by the name of Mr. Wonderful, is not so wonderful. He appears in Shark Tank, where he offers his investment in almost every business. But the business owners don't like him, and they always give him a least priority. He is the luckiest investor for himself, but for others he is not so lucky. He founded a software company from his basement called Softkey. Later, he acquired Palo Alto-based company called The Learning Company for $606 million and merged Softkey with The Learning Company. After some years, he sold the merger to Mattel, valuing the company at $4.2 billion. Mattel is a toy manufacturing company that owns brands like Barbie, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Fisher-Price, American Girl, and many more. The Learning Company acquisition by Mattel is considered one of the worst takeovers in recent history. Due to the acquisition, Mattel lost over $3.6 billion in 1999. In 2000, Mattel dissolved the software division and sold the Learning Company assets to Gores Technology Group. The acquisition, though, was a disaster for Mattel, but for Kevin O'Leary, he became a multimillionaire. And unlike Mattel, the acquisition proved to be one of the luckiest things that happened to him. Want to know how Kevin O'Leary was able to start and get negotiation techniques to sell a company for $4.2 billion, which failed within 2 years of selling? Watch the full video. Kevin O'Leary, how Mr. Wonderful became one of the richest Canadians. We at Business Chronicles tell the stories of extraordinarily successful people. Please subscribe to our channel to help us in making more videos. In 1954, Kevin O'Leary was born in Montreal to a salesman of Irish descent, Terry O'Leary. His mother, Georgette Bucalam, was of Lebanese descent and was a business owner and astute investor. O'Leary grew up in Mount Royal, Quebec with his parents. They divorced early in his life because of his father's alcoholism, and his father died afterward. O'Leary was 7 years old at the time. Later, O'Leary's mother married economist George Kanawati, who worked with the United Nations International Labor Organization. Because of his stepfather's work, O'Leary spent time in many regions around the world, including Cyprus, Cambodia, and Ethiopia. He, however, studied in Quebec, specifically St. George's School and Stansted College. When he was in grade 11, O'Leary got his first job as a scooper at an ice cream store. Occasionally, buyers would spit out their chewing gum and drop it on the store floor before consuming their ice cream. The gum stuck on the floor tiles and turned gray, ruining its aesthetics. At the end of his first day, O'Leary was preparing to go home when the store owner told him to scrape the gum off the floor. O'Leary protested and was fired. That incident changed his life, and he decided he would not work for another person again. He would be his own boss. After graduating high school, O'Leary wanted to become a photographer or rock star, but after consulting with his stepfather, decided to go to college. He studied psychology and environmental studies at the University of Waterloo. In his third year, he started taking night classes in advanced cinematography. He expanded his love for photography into filmmaking and started making and editing films in the evening and on weekends. Soon, people began noticing his cinematography skills and hired him as a cameraman for sports, commercial, and industrial events. This is where he honed his filmmaking skills. In 1977, O'Leary graduated from the University of Waterloo. His stepfather urged him to earn a 2-year business degree to help him in his future career. O'Leary joined Ivy Business School in the University of Western Ontario and earned his MBA in entrepreneurship in 1980. During that time, he continued making films, even making a film about the experience of earning a degree at the business school. He hired a team of filmmakers, leased equipment, and shot the film over 24 months. The institution paid him $30,000 for it when he graduated and even used it as a recruitment tool. In 1978, after earning his MBA, O'Leary formed a partnership with 2 other MBA classmates, Dave Toms and Scott McKenzie, to co-found Special Event Television, or SET. The independent production company produced original sports programs such as Don Cherry's Grapevine, Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends, and The Original Six. The company also made short commercials. O'Leary sold his shares in the company in the mid-1980s for $25,000. In 1986, O'Leary founded Softkey in the basement of his home in Toronto. He partnered with a designer named John Freeman, who had made a program to drive Hewlett-Packard plotters. They named the company Softkey and set out to publish and distribute the software in CD-ROM packages. To fund the new company, O'Leary relied on the cash he received from selling his SET shares and a $10,000 investment from his mother. O'Leary first approached HP to include the software in its bundle offerings to plotter buyers, but the company was reluctant. O'Leary then went to HP's competitors and sold the software they named KeyChart to them. The manufacturers bundled the software with their plotter offerings and sold millions of copies, earning Softkey about 12 cents per copy. In the early 1990s, as the dot-com era was just setting off, investors were calling the company expressing interest in the business. Seeing an opportunity, O'Leary was ready to grow the company exponentially. But Freeman did not want to go the distance. He was happy making software, so he sold most of his shares to O'Leary, retaining a small stake. Now fully at the reins of the company, O'Leary expanded Softkey's product line, buying the rights to application packages from designers and distributing them under the company's label. By 1992, the company had 35 products. O'Leary prioritized volume over margin, selling his products at between $40 and $100. He wanted to acquire as much market share as possible, serving the big percentage of people who did not use educational software because it was costly. O'Leary also doubled down on trade shows and brought in private equity investors to fund the company. In 1993, Softkey began acquiring its competitors, then repackaging and repricing their software. It first started with smaller competitors like Spinnaker Software and WordStar before acquiring bigger ones like The Learning Company in 1995 for $606 million. Following this acquisition, Softkey rebranded to The Learning Company TLC in 1995. It acquired another big competitor, Broderbund, in 1998 for $416 million, consolidating the entire educational software market. In 1999, Mattel acquired TLC for $4.2 billion, making O'Leary a multi-millionaire. He remained in the company for some time before leaving at the turn of the new millennium. In 2003, O'Leary co-invested in StorageNow Holdings, a company that made and operated temperature-controlled storage facilities. O'Leary became a director at the company and, together with owners Reza and Asif Sachu, expanded it to 11 cities in Canada. They sold the company to Storage REIT in 2007 for $110 million. O'Leary made $4.5 million from the sale. He had invested $500,000. In 2008, O'Leary co-founded a mutual fund business, O'Leary Funds Inc. The company focused on high-yield investments in global equity markets. By 2011, the company had $400 million in assets under management. A year later, it had $1.2 billion. O'Leary sold the business to Canoe Financials in 2015. That same year, 2015, O'Leary founded O'Leary Funds Management LP, a wealth management organization. Through the limited partnership, he has listed a number of exchange-traded funds in the public markets, catering to investors who want income growth and wealth preservation. He continues to serve as chairman of the organization. O'Leary also runs O'Leary Fine Wines. The company sells quality wines at affordable prices. O'Leary first appeared on TV in 2006 as a venture capitalist on Canada's Dragon's Den, a show where entrepreneurs pitch their ideas to investors. The show was a success, clocking about 2 million views per episode. In 2009, he joined Shark Tank, an American show following a similar concept. He has stayed on the show ever since. He left Dragon's Den in 2014. Shark Tank has won several awards and recorded 9 million views per episode in the 2014-2015 season. Through the show, O'Leary invested in companies such as Groovebook, which was sold to Shutterfly, and Talbot Teas, which was sold to Jamba Juice. O'Leary has also co-hosted shows such as The Lang and O'Leary Exchange on Canada's CBC News Network, and Discovery Project Earth on the Discovery Channel. He is a regular on CNBC. Besides O'Shares Investments, O'Leary also serves as chairman of the board of Beanstocks, an automated internet investment advisory service. He is a strategic advisor at TaxHive, a tax preparation and estate planning company, and WonderFi, a company that makes easy-to-use decentralized finance applications. He has published 3 books: The Cold Hard Truth on Business, Money, and Life in 2012, Cold Hard Truth on Family, Kids, and Money in 2013, and Cold Hard Truth on Men, Women, and Money in 2014. O'Leary supports causes in education, financial literacy, and medicine through his investments. He also donates the proceeds of his photography to charity. Every 5 years, O'Leary and his wife Linda focus on 7 charities to work with and donate to them. Kevin O'Leary inherited business acumen from his mother. He knows how to build a brand. He is doing business since 1979, and he is one of the most successful Canadian businessmen. He lived in many places as his stepfather's job needed to move places. He learned many things in his childhood, which made him one of the best negotiators. He was smart enough to know that Mattel will get billions of losses, so he sold the stake in Mattel way before Mattel's stock was down $2 billion in a single day in 1998. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this.